Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the 2021 LVA Honors. This is the fourth consecutive year that we have honored luminaries, creatives, and the people that make Louisville such an incredible city. With so many, it's funny because I've had these notes ready. I've been working on them for a couple weeks, and it seems a little odd to sort of be looking at notes and talking now. I kind of want to set them aside and say a little bit of something from the heart. So 2021, the last year, 2020, has been kind of challenging. There's been COVID, there's been unrest in Louisville and all over the country. And when I got here, there was some serious talks about whether the honors celebration as we know it, because many of you were at the luncheons in previous years, could even happen. Should we do another virtual event? I know we're all a little bit tired of stuff like this, and I personally want to thank you all for participating. But let me tell you personally why it's important to me that you're all here tonight, that we're all gathered, and that you're all supporting this event. There are so many creative people, so many talented folks in this community that have not only taken the adversity of this year and overcome it, but they've used it as a springboard to make our community a better place. And I think it behooves organizations like LVA to not step back and wait for another year to do this, but to really lean into it and recognize the people that have fought above this adversity and really elevated all of us. And so thank you, everyone. I do have a couple notes that I actually have to read from. Sorry. First things first, I want to thank William Duffy. So William Duffy is our sculptor this year for our award. So all of our award recipients will be receiving one of these lovely little statues. So thank you so much, William Duffy, for continuing to support LVA for all of these years and for your mark on Louisville. Also, should anything happen with this live stream, keep an eye on your email. There might be a MailChimp coming from us. This is our first time doing a live digital event. I want to thank all of the staff and the folks at Skybridge Media for helping put this together. And we've really learned how to do a live event like this, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. And hopefully, we will never have to have a virtual honors event again, and next year I can see you all in person. Our evening begins with the Emerging Artist Award. The purpose of this particular award is to really recognize an artist that has moved just beyond the canvas or the photograph or the sculpture and who has really, their artwork has redefined a community. Past winners of this are Vinhai Keo in 2018, Monica Stewart in 2019, and Liz Richter in 2020. But this year, our 2021 award recipient is Jalen Stewart, whose art has really captured a movement. Without further ado, Jalen Stewart.
Art is definitely a form of healing, and I say that because I'm a living testimony. In 2016, I started painting portraits of victims of violence, and when I started doing that, I seen how powerful my artwork really was, and I seen how it impacted other people. I really started kind of to heal my own broken heart, but I end up, doing a lot for more people, for my community members and others. I see a lot of healing through my murals as well. Public art. Growing up and going around, I never really saw images that represented me, represented who I could be, something great. I just really focus on positive things. I focus on things that I know that my community needs. I created a portrait of Breonna Taylor, which is something that I usually do. I honor victims of violence, but I really wanted to honor her in a different way. I wanted to do something that I, had normally done. So what I did was I projected her image onto Metro Hall. It really showed me, not even just as an artist, but as a young woman, how life can change so quickly, so drastically, in the blink of an eye. At that moment, I realized that staying true to my mission was always important in fighting for my rights. And that just really changed the narrative of some of my work. Being awarded this award really made me just want to keep going, not give up, and just try to keep creating, for myself, for others, keep telling that story, keep changing the narrative, and making a change and a super big impact in the world.
I want to thank and welcome Sadiqa Reynolds, who's the president and CEO of the Louisville Urban League, who will present the Emerging Artist Award to Jalen Stewart.
Thank you, Christian. At the age of 24, Jalen Monet Stewart is a prolific artist. She's the founder of a nonprofit, an educator, and a community role model. She has been recognized with awards and accolades from every organization all over this city and in other places in the country. Her work ranges from painting murals, mixed media, chalk, to installation and performance. In every way, Jalen is an amazing artist, and I am so honored to be here today to stand with her and introduce her to you all. And I just want to say a few more things about Jalen. In 2017, she founded a nonprofit, Ada School of Art, which provides a creative environment using multiple forms of art, serving youth and young adults. Jalen provides free art education to thousands of disadvantaged youth across Kentucky and Southern Indiana. I mean, this young woman is amazing. I had her with me at the Louisville Urban League for a little while. It was wonderful to have Jalen as a colleague. She is such a giving person. Her heart is so full. She works constantly to help victims of gun violence to cope with their grief. And I think it's important for us to recognize that she was doing that, because of her own experiences, but also watching other people grapple with grief and some of the challenges that they were experiencing because of the loss of their loved one. She took that energy and created something beautiful. Things like God Rest America and We Belong. She's recently done a mural on 16th Street and West Broadway. I am introducing to you and presenting to you a woman who I love, who I think is one of the reasons I am so hopeful about our future in this country and in this city. I think Jalen Stewart is amazing. And if you see her work and if you feel her heart, if you understand her passion, I'm sure that you will think so too. Jalen Stewart, you deserve every award that any of us could ever give you. Thank you so much for blessing our community with your talent. We love you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Sadiqa. It was an honor to work with you and under you and still have you as one of my mentors. So, first, I want to give all glory to God. To be honored as an emerging artist at the age of 25 is all his doing. Thank you, Louisville Visual Art. I am humbled. This award means more than words can express. I accept this award as a celebration of my life, the life I have made for myself, me celebrating the work I have done by staying true to a purpose that meets the needs of many people in the city of Louisville and beyond, even with all the odds stacked against me. I accept this award not only for myself, but for my ancestors who have fought for my rights, those who went through pain and suffering and sacrificed their lives for the well being of other people. For every bad I have learned, there is a ton of good. And on the other side of pain, there is always healing. I accept this award for every Black artist who didn't feel worthy of being a creator and a part of a culture that has not always accepted us for being the talented, outspoken beings we are. It takes a strong, brave, and fearless artist like me and you to continue to change that narrative. This moment is for us. It is truly an honor to be awarded for all the hard work I have done early on in my career. This is only the beginning of what I want to contribute to this world. As an artist, we deserve to be appreciated and uplifted while we are doing the work. As awards like this help break the stereotypical story of artists and their work are not appreciated until they pass away. As we know and have been reminded in the year 2020, art is essential and a portal to many ways of life. So thank you again, LVA, and congratulations to all of this year's awardees. Lastly, I want to give thanks to my beautiful, strong mother, my best friend, and my number one supporter. To my little brother, I want you to know that everything I do is for us. You have been one of my biggest inspirations. Your strength is unmatched, and it has pulled me through these last few years. Thank you to all of my friends, my family, and community members and organizations who have supported me in every way possible. I'm so thankful that my artistry is helping shape the future and becoming a part of history that I know will influence many generations after me. Thank you again.
Congratulations again, Jalen. And here to say a few words about the importance of the arts is the governor and arts champion, Andy Beshear.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be joining you this evening as we celebrate 4 remarkable Kentuckians and their commitment to our Commonwealth. John Begley, an artist and leader committed to advocating for arts and fostering a love for individual craft. Kevin Ashford, an educator and artist who is empowering the next generation through his own talent and passion. And of course, Edward Lee, an award-winning chef using his talents to give back to the community and his platform to bring equity to an industry so that others can soar. These artists are leaders, making a difference in all those they touch. And the final recipient actually made a personal impact on me during this past year. There's so many days at 5 p.m. when I was moved by the beautiful and significant work of Jalen Stewart. Your pieces pay tribute to the incredible healthcare heroes during some of our darkest hours, and it helped further amplify the voices calling for social justice. Thank you. As governor, I'm blown away by the significant work being done by these 4 and so many like them throughout Kentucky. I want to thank the Louisville Visual Arts for honoring them tonight and for further highlighting their important missions. The arts community brings us together, and often it's the driving force to bring change when we need it the most. It'll help us build the better Kentucky all of our people deserve. Thank you for your work, and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Governor Beshear. I know that I'm going to sound a bit like a broken record when I mentioned lives being turned upside down, making the best of a chaotic situation. That's certainly been true for teachers who have had to adapt multiple times as guidelines and best practices have been in what seems like a constant state of flux. For nearly 100 years, LVA has been synonymous with arts education, principally through our CFAC program, which was started in 1925. For those past 96 years, LVA has employed countless artists who have been entrusted with inspiring the next generation of creative problem solvers. Every year we owe a debt to teachers, but never more so than this year. Past Educator of the Year award recipients, 2020's Shay Rhodes and 2019's James Grabola, have been part of an excellent art department at the University of Louisville. However, this year's nominee follows in the footsteps of our inaugural 2018 recipient, Wilma Bethel. We are pleased to recognize an excellent educator, Kevin Ashford.
I love art. It is my talent. Teaching is my passion, though. I knew teaching was my calling in high school. The guidance counselor came to all of us and asked us what we wanted to do, and I actually didn't know because people kept pointing me in different directions. And she said, you like helping people and you have a talent for art, so why not be an art teacher? And my art teacher at the time, Ms. Weaver, was like, that's a great idea. You should be an art teacher. And it clicked. Learning to create art, it boosts confidence. It builds critical thinking. These skills transfer to all mediums. I tell my kids everything is art. My mission as an educator in art is to be an encourager, to push kids to their ultimate potential. I want kids to know that their skill is valuable, that they'll be happier if they are working in something that they're confident in. If it's not visual art, that skill will transition into every single job that they will have. I think art is very important in the community as far as bridging cultural boundaries. It's important in the world because it's a commonality. It is something that we all have in common, the ability to create, and that ability needs to be nourished. When I heard I was getting the Educator of the Year award, I was beside myself. I didn't think at this point I had done enough, actually. The people who came before me are great artists, and I hope to be at their level at some point, and I'm very honored to be counted among them.
And here to present the award to Kevin Ashford is Wilma Bethel.
Thank you, Christian. I am extremely honored to introduce Mr. Kevin Ashford as the 2021 Visual Art Educator Award winner. I've worked alongside Mr. Ashford at Crosby Middle School and LVA for over 15 years. He is an exceptionally talented teacher and artist. Students love Kevin. They all want to be in his classes. The exhibits he curates at Crosby at the end of every year are phenomenal, as well as the work his students create for LVA. When the students leave Kevin's class, they are extremely knowledgeable about the art basics as well as art history. He is not only a great artist and teacher, but also a wonderful mentor. Students are always in his room before and after school working on their projects. They return to visit during college breaks and even as working adults to share information about their lives. There are teachers and there are super teachers. Kevin Ashford wears the cape.
Thank you, Ms. Bethel, for that introduction. Ms. Bethel is one of the teachers who has helped me become the teacher I am, the artist that I am, and the person that I am. Just like Louisville Visual Arts has done for all of Louisville children. I remember coming up from Hopkinsville, Kentucky to Kentucky State University. The art teachers, Dr. Bader and Ms. Weaver, they were awesome. They helped me to develop my talent, much like Louisville Visual Arts is doing. Without them, without Ms. Bethel, without Carol Skinner, without Kurt Lattimore, without Mr. Moss, without Ms. Weaver, and all the professors at Kentucky State University, my skill would not have grown. I would not be in the position to have a career, make money, and provide for my family through the arts if it had not been for all those angels that were sent to me to help me along the way. CFAC classes, children-free art classes, which are provided by Louisville Visual Arts, is doing much of what those people did for me, for this community. They are giving them an opportunity to grow, to nurture their talent and their skills. Art has been important to me, and I can tell that it's important to the children that I've taught before. I'm truly honored to get this award. It just lets me know that I'm doing the right thing and I'm pursuing the right path. At the same time, it makes me want to continue to support LVA as I wish that you would. Give back to the children. I think art is very important during these times. Through COVID, it's granted a lot of children peace. Through political unrest, it's given a lot of people a voice. So the arts have always been important in my life. They are relevant and they are important. So please continue to support Louisville Visual Arts Society. Thank you again for the award.
Congratulations again, Kevin. And on the heels of recognizing an outstanding educator, I am excited to announce a new recognition for this year. Thanks to the generosity and underwriting of the Artists Guild of Anchorage, this year we are able to give 3 scholarships to outstanding seniors who have been participating in LVA's CFAC and Academy program. We would like to commend and recognize Tarina Henry and Elena Render of DuPont Manual High School and Malva Weck of North Oldham High School for their excellence. Thank you again to the Artists Guild of Anchorage for supporting the next generation of arts professionals. And here to say a few words is AGA's top award recipient, Malva Weck.
Thank you, Christian, and I would like to give a very big thank you to the Artists Guild of Anchorage for awarding me this scholarship. I am super passionate about not only the environment, but about art, and so I hope to, in the future in college, study both environmental science and the visual arts and be able to convey a new and unique message about what a dire situation our planet is facing with climate change, etc., and be able to convey that somehow through the visual arts. LVA has really made me able to create art on a whole nother level I never thought I was capable of creating before, and inspired me and encouraged me. And it was actually one of my teachers, Ms. Tavil Novinger, who really pushed me to, send in my artist application to my dream school, Amherst College up in Massachusetts, where I will be attending this fall. So thank you again to the Anchorage Artists Guild, and I could not be more thrilled and very grateful.
Thank you, Malva. We've reached the point in the evening where I would be remiss if I didn't say and remind you all that even though this is an award ceremony to celebrate all of these luminaries this evening, it's also a critical fundraiser for LVA to support our programs like CFAC and the Academy, to give students like Malva a chance and to support teachers like Kevin Ashford. So please, at some point in the evening, right now, if it's a good time, go to www.lvahonors.org, where there's a button where you can donate to all of our CFAC and Academy programs and to support emerging artists like Jalen and educators like Kevin and students like Malva. One of the things that struck me when I moved here in July was the openness and collaborative nature of our creative community. One of the first people I met was Teddy Abrams, music director of the Louisville Orchestra. We've had many great conversations, and when I was planning this evening and I reached out to him to say, hey, Teddy, would you be willing to participate in honoring these local creative luminaries? He didn't hesitate one beat, and I'm really appreciative for his generosity of time and spirit, and to the Louisville Orchestra as well. Here's Teddy Abrams.
It's so wonderful to be here to support LVA and the incredible work that they are doing. And in the spirit of collaboration, I was thrilled and honored to be asked to be a part of this evening's celebration. And I wanted to do something special for LVA. And I decided to actually create a new piece of music for this very occasion. So this is going to be a world premiere. And I thought about what to write about. And the thing that came to mind was the room in my house where I was composing this. We've spent so much time, of course, at home. And I know that some people have found a lot of inspiration in this crazy year, and others have maybe not found that. But I certainly find that here in Louisville, at my house, there's a kind of coziness. There's a kind of spirit, because this is a very old home, like many of the buildings in this part of town, that just kind of feels like you're connected to the community and connected to the history here. And so this kind of old parlor where I could imagine maybe 150 years ago, people made music to entertain themselves when they were kind of forced to stay inside for other reasons. It gave me the inspiration for this piece. And so I wanted to kind of provide this kind of ghosts of a romanticism kind of work. And it is truly new. This is the closest to visual art that you're ever going to see from me. But that's what it looks like on paper right there, the scribbles. And so this is the world premiere of this new piece. Thank you all so much for supporting the incredible LVA. And I look forward to seeing you all in person sometime very soon.
Thank you so much, Teddy. Our next award of the evening is LVA's Benefactor Award. Past recipients of this award include Porter Watkins in 2018, the Reverend Al Shands in 2019, and Nana Lampton in 2020. Each of these individuals has left an indelible mark, not just on LVA, but they have each touched the community through multiple causes, and the number of lives they have changed is immeasurable. In this extraordinary year, we wanted to examine the traditional way that we in the nonprofit sector have defined benefactor. This year, rather than recognize an individual or foundation that has supported LVA, we wanted to look to an organization founded by an acclaimed creative individual that is providing support directly to the community. This year's honoree is not being recognized for what he and his team have given to us, but rather because he has been harnessing his creative talent to support those who have lost their livelihood to the economic devastation caused by COVID. LVA and the recipients of the nearly 1.5 million meals that they have provided to those in need are pleased to recognize Chef Edward Lee, Lindsay Ofsacek, and the Lee Initiative for all they have done to provide food assistance and food stability for so many who were impacted by this economic devastation.
I've always been crazy about food. I mean, even since the time I was a little kid, it was something just innate, and I feel like I was born with it. I just have never wanted to do anything else. Everything is food to me, you know? And I say, like, I walk around the world and everything has a food relationship to it. Like, to me, an empty plate is an empty canvas, right? And so you got to fill it with something. So you're really creating something out of nothing. And I think that's what all good art strives for. There were certain people along the way in my career who had no reason to help me, and they did. There are people who just went out of their way to be kind to me, and it really helped. At some point when I leave this industry, I want to leave it in a better place than I found it. You know, it's my time to lend a helping hand and give back.
So the Lee Initiative was kind of a brainchild that came about in 2017. We sat around and had a lot of conversations about what we could do to help. After tons of ideas, we landed on mentorship. We had announced our third class of mentees when the pandemic hit. We found out that all restaurants were closing, and so we quickly pivoted to a direct aid feeding model. We didn't want to lose the momentum that we had built with the Lee Initiative. We also didn't want to turn our back on our industry and the people who worked here. So we were able to move into this model where we could empower restaurant workers to feed the community. So we were able to open relief kitchens all across the US. I think we're at 1.5 million families that we've served, and all while empowering restaurants to be a part of that and be a part of that community and feeding the people around them. And so for me, that shows how important this industry is for people.
It's changed the way we look at our community, and there is something that's changed me personally in my career. Like, I've never done this much, activism and outreach work, and there's no reason why we can't be, the beacon for that change.
And now to present the award to Lindsay and Chef Lee is Lee Initiative board member Ben Johnson.
Thanks, Christian. My name is Ben Johnson, board member of the Lee Initiative, and it is truly my honor to introduce and recognize Ed and Lindsay for the hard work they've done with the Lee Initiative, and not only in Louisville, but all over the country. We are excited and pleased to receive this Benefactor of the Year award. I met Ed years ago as a customer in this restaurant. We were just having a good time, and he was wanting to do something in the community. And we put together a couple of things that he worked on through his restaurant, no fanfare, just really a heart for the community. So I'm not surprised at all of what the Lee Initiative has become, and the fact that it's done so many wonderful things. This is the kind of thing he was doing behind the scenes anyway. So he was uniquely positioned to do this great work now. And if you know Ed at all, somebody has to be behind them, keeping them straight and keeping them focused and on task, and that's Lindsay. Haven't known her as long, but she has a heart as big as his in terms of this community work, and they are truly dedicated to doing what they do. So on behalf of the Lee Initiative board on behalf of this city and the entire country where this work is taking place, I just want to thank them. Also want to thank LVA for acknowledging our work with the Benefactor of the Year Award. And again, also want to thank Christian. So congratulations, Ed, Lindsay, and the Lee Initiative. Thank you, LVA.
Thank you so much, Ben. You're an incredible board member, and we could never do this work without you. We're so grateful.
And thank you, Ben. Thank you to LVA. Thank you to the city of Louisville. Thank you to everyone. Thank all the hardworking restaurant workers out there. This is an amazing award. It's an amazing recognition, and we're not stopping. We're gonna keep continuing to do great things. So thank you.
Congratulations again, Chef Lee and Lindsay. In 2013, LVA hosted Troublesome Houses, an exhibit of work inspired by the music of Will Oldham. Will was very supportive of that effort, and we are so grateful that he accepted our invitation to be part of tonight's program. The Louisville-born singer-songwriter brings a rare voice to the American folk scene, producing enigmatic music filled with darkness and dread. However, over more than 20 years, his output has shifted to a tone embracing hope and longing. He began releasing music in the early 1990s, shifting between using different variations of the name Palace, Bonnie Prince Billy, and occasionally his given name. His most recent album is I Made a Place, and here to express his gratitude to the awardees and to you all for supporting LVA, here he is to perform How About Thank You.
I'm Will Oldham, and I'm here to sing you a song. This is for LVA and for recipients of recognition from LVA this year, 2021. I know some of you, I don't know all of you, but I trust LVA, so congratulations and thank you. The song is called How About Thank You, and I'm going to do my best. 2, 3, 4. I thank God for all that she's given me. I thank Earth for all that she's grown. I thank you for love that surrounds me. What to do, just make it our own. Hey, ooh, ooh, hey, 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 hey. Share with God the yields of my action. Share with earth the soles of my feet. Share with you the laws of attraction. And with everyone I meet. Oh, and I know when I lay my head down, it's the sweet life of dreams I deserve. Yes, and I know when the sun comes again, so a new chance deserving his love. Oh, I have music here in my body. I have choice, I have freedom to choose. Bow my head in thanks and humility, and in awe at the things that she does. Oh, and I know when I lay my head down, it's the sweet life of dreams I deserve. Yes, and I know when the sun comes again, so a new chance deserving her love. Oh, I know, yes, I know, I know that I don't know a thing. Congratulations. See you next year.
Thank you so very much, Will. The last award for the evening is the Legacy Award, which honors individuals who have given a lifetime of service to the arts in Louisville. These are the types of pivotal people who, if they had not dedicated themselves to Louisville, the city would not have its creative vibrancy. Past awardees Billy Hertz, Ed Hamilton, and the inimitable Miss Elmer Lucille Allen have not only left their mark, in some cases, their faces are emblazoned on murals and banners that decorate the city. Like many who are watching tonight, this year's awardee has left an impact on my life. As the former director of the Water Tower Art Association, a previous name for LVA, his tenure was a high watermark, no pun intended, for LVA. Many programs and events that you may remember were shaped by him. After 19 distinguished years as LVA's director, he went to work at the University of Louisville's Height Art Institute, where he founded the esteemed Curatorial Studies program and spent just shy of 2 decades mentoring the next generation of artists and curators. There are few artists in town that are more than a couple of degrees separated from his influence. It is LVA's true honor to recognize John Begley as the 2021 Legacy Award recipient.
You know, I've worked as a gallery director and later taught at U of L and worked as a curator, but all during the time that I worked in other jobs, keeping that core of being an artist was important. I wouldn't call it driven, I just do it because it's part of me. I've mainly been abstract artist. I think in terms of abstraction. That's wide open. Some artists work on one problem for their whole career, quote, style. And often artists want to establish a style. I've always thought that I didn't particularly want a style. Art is ongoing. It's something new that wasn't there in the past. You take things that you recombine and it can come out new. And often it makes a very small change. Other times it's totally unexpected what shift it will make in a viewpoint, in a life, in a conversation. I think this past year has taught us how fragile everything is, from our climate to our politics, to our health, to our community. I mean, this could break us. And of course, the hope is that it also builds strength. Most of the artists I know and have been in conversation with over this past year are making stuff. They're still creating. And, you know, that's hopeful.
And here to introduce John is acclaimed artist and longtime gallerist, Chuck Swanson.
Thanks, Kristen. It's really an honor for me to introduce John Begley for this Lifetime Achievement Award. I've known John, for nearly 40 years. And just a little bit about John. He went to college in New Mexico and studied printmaking, and but then he came back for his MFA and got his MFA at IU, and then he became the director of the New Harmony Art Gallery in Indiana, and he turned it into a really significant venue for contemporary art, and it is to this day. It's really worth a trip to see it. And then he after he left there, he came to Louisville as the director of the LVA, which was called the Water Tower at that time, the Water Tower Art Association, and that was in the early 1980s. And he almost immediately really made it into one of the most important venues for contemporary art for Louisville and the region. He started things like the Water Tower Annual, and the sort of took over what used to be the 8 states at the speed, so that there would be places, a place for people to show their art, young artists, mostly emerging artists, and through the LVA, the Water Tower, so many contemporary artists in the area got a boost in their careers. It was really almost amazing how many people he helped, and I know that and through that time he worked on other projects. It wasn't long before he co-founded the organization, the Visual Art Network, known by the acronym VAN, and it became an important vehicle. It still exists, and it's been an important vehicle for galleries and nonprofit institutions to keep kind of abreast of what other people are doing and to make friends and to network and to have projects. And he also founded FLAG, what was it called? The Future of Louisville Art in Public Places, which became the Mayor's Committee in Public Art eventually. And one time, an interesting little story that shows the dedication that he had at one time in, I think it was 1997, there was a pretty big flood. And the water tower itself became an island out in the Ohio River. And John went on a boat, a small boat that launched from Zorn Avenue, because the river road was covered, to go to the tower and make sure that everything was okay, that if something needed to be moved to higher ground, they could do it. I think he might have gone with his employee at that time, Al Gorman, and they got out into the water, and it turned out that the current was a lot faster than they expected. It didn't look, I guess, from the shore, it looked kind of meandering, but as it got closer, and they had to really, really work and fight to get to that. And they had to probably make some serious decisions on whether to turn around or whether to go forward. But they went forward out of the love of making sure that place was okay. Probably sometime in the around 2004 or 5, maybe earlier. He moved to the Hyde Institute at U of L and ran the curatorial study, where he mentored a lot of young, he ran the galleries, and he taught the students how to hang shows and how to deal with galleries and also curatorial studies, which he did with Julian Robson and Robson. And he mentored people like Mesa Hickson and Joey Yates, who's at the Kentucky Art and Craft now. And he helped one of his former students, Sharon Scott, found the Art Radio, which is working well right now, and it includes LVA and one of its programs. But it's just, and I'll say one other thing. I don't want to get too gushy, but I have never heard anybody say a bad word about him, and I've never heard him say a bad word about anybody else. And that's even in private, that's a really nice trait to have. It leaves just a lot of goodwill. It's a great legacy to leave. So in a conclusion, he's just really deserving of this award. I can't think of anybody else that's been in the center of the Louisville art scene as over a lifetime, really, that's more deserving than John.
Well, thank you, Chuck, for those kind words and some of those memories.
Yeah, I probably forgot.
Go to the water tower was one of those days. I feel a bit like Chance the gardener, Peter Sellers in the movie Being There. Things happen all around me, and I've been fortunate enough to be there. When I came to Louisville, Chuck had just opened his first space on Bardstown Road, and we began a conversation about art and Louisville that has continued, like he said, for almost 40 years. And I'm very grateful for your friendship, as well as his insight and his acumen. He really thinks and sees deeply about the art that he is involved with. I have another long-term relationship that goes back even longer, almost 52 years now. And that's real legacy status. And that's with my wife and partner, Kay. Talk about luck of being there. It's someone I met on a blind date on the day I committed to going into the Army. And she stuck around. It kind of boggles my mind. And that brings me to some of the other wonderful privileges I've had during my time in Louisville. I worked with incredible people at the Water Tower and at U of L and in the community, for boards and on boards and on volunteer projects, at other organizations and with teachers in schools, people in government and beyond. I've had the pleasure of engaging with really talented, dedicated, and inspiring artists on projects, exhibitions, workshops, classes, and interactions that have been provocative and challenging, but delightful and incredibly personal and meaningful. And I've had really wonderful, eager, and most creative students who've taught me as much as I've taught them. I can't name them all right now here, but if you want to talk to me individually, I'm something of a hoarder, and I can bring out a list of names that I'm thankful for having had the opportunity to share a life in art with, and I can bend your ear for hours about them. I use the word privileged. I give thanks for the relationship I've enjoyed. That word today can also connote kinds of thinking that are unthinking and undeserved advantage, which I have to admit that I have unmindfully benefited from at times. I've had the privilege of good parents, of teachers, mentors, colleagues, bosses, friends, jobs, opportunities, and I certainly want to recognize the debt I have in this good fortune. However, I also had the privilege to pursue being an artist. And there is no mistaking that being an artist is a privileged position. It is also one that anyone who has a deep interest and passion for the visual arts should be able to pursue. It is a position of power that gives you the ability to make your world. And I know that it is difficult if such privileges, such as access, encouragement, and equity, are not available to those who seek to pursue this path. The children's free art classes of the LVA are designed to provide such opportunities, to make access and encouragement available on an equitable basis to kids who have expressed an interest in pursuing such studies. It is a program that I was fortunate enough to find already in place when I moved to Louisville in 1983. It's one of those being there experiences that I mentioned in the beginning, and is one that has become primary personal as well as an organizational mission. It is certainly a reason to commit to supporting the work of the LVA and its CFAC program, as well as all its other efforts in support of artists and in extending the accessibility to visual arts program to everyone in our community. Being an artist is a gift that is also a responsibility, and you have require self-awareness. An artist changes the world for him or herself, for those around, and for those they may never know. In the act of creation, something that wasn't is now. It may be a small change. It's often an unexpected one, but it is always an addition to the human record. Joan Didion, talking about writing and grammar, said that arrangement, and what is arrangement but composition to the visual artist? Arrangement matters. Change the order of the same words in a sentence, and it can mean something entirely different. So hopefully, as we emerge from the terrible dark time of this past year, I think we all should be aware of the privileges we enjoy and work very hard to make sure they extend to all. Being an artist is one powerful way to change the dynamic and the future of our community. I've tried to look carefully, to listen and learn, to understand points of view not even imagined by me until I saw them before me. I've tried to keep a core of myself that I recognize as being an artist, whether drawing or printing, teaching, fundraising, jurying, or just hanging a picture. I would recommend this approach to living a life in art. I gratefully thank the LVA and all its various forms and names for this honor, although perhaps I'd rather receive the Emerging Artist Award. Anyway, it is truly unnecessary for them to make this award to me, for the organization has given me more than I can possibly state. So again, everyone I've had the privilege to work with over these past years. There is a corny sort of Hoosier sort of joke that I thought was very funny as a kid. In fact, I still think it's kind of funny. And now that I think about it, it sort of presages my interest in things curatorial. Here's the joke. A mom told her kids that the preacher was coming to Sunday dinner after the service and that they should be on their best behavior. Be polite, no scratching or itching, no picking your nose. So later, as they were eating, young Bobby says, "Preacher," and he had a little itch, and he said, "Preacher, my mom's gonna cut my hair tomorrow and she's gonna trim it here and here." And his sister looked at this and she thought, "Boy, I got an itch too." And she says, "Preacher, Mom's making me a new dress and she's putting bows here and here." And young Johnny realized what was going on and he said, "Preacher, you see that picture over there? Mom's gonna put it over there." So you can see life patterns are established early. So let's help some young ones be privileged to participate in classes where you learn to see, to think, to compose, and to create how you shape your own and your shared environment. Let's support CFAC. Thank you all for indulging me.
Congratulations again, John. And I just want to say thank you so much. To be able to walk in your footsteps is an incredible honor. I know Chris Wrights at the Height Institute feels the exact same way. In fact, John Begley has an exhibition opening at the Cressman Center tomorrow. Actually, here, this is one I need my notes for. Thank you. I know I've been doing this live. The statue is being winged off to its honoree. So the Cressman Center, John Begley will be having my DIY retirement, and I'm actually going Saturday at 3:30. I really hope to see you there at the Cressman Center. So I need these notes because I really want to make sure that I thank all of our sponsors. No one should go unthanked. So thank you to Commonwealth Bank and Skybridge Media as our gold sponsors, and to thank Glenview Trust, Stuart Hertz and Sean Allen, and Lynn Dunbar Bias Art Studio for being our bronze sponsors. I have so many people to thank. I want to do this off the cuff, but that wouldn't be right. I want to thank all of our award presenters. Thank you. Every awardee got to choose the person that introduced them, and that meant something to them specifically. And so thank you, all of you, for being the person that our awardees thought lifted them up. I want to thank Will Oldham, I want to thank Teddy Abrams, and I want to thank Governor Beshear for doing such an incredible job for all of our sort of comments and music and artistic expression in between every shot. last but not least, I want to thank Duffy for creating the incredible award that we have now sent off. I assume that was the one for Jalen Stewart. Is that true, Grant? Is that going to? Yeah. That's the one that's going to Jalen Stewart right now, being winged there. And now I have an entire list of people that I need to thank. So forgive me for looking down at my notes. I know I did the whole extemporaneous thing earlier, but this I can't miss anyone. Although I know I will miss someone. First things first, I want to thank my profuse gratitude to Louisville Podcast Studio and Chip Swetnam for his technical wizardry. Chip is right there. I'm pointing to him, and he's not looking at me. He's nodding while looking at the monitor. But Chip spent so much time in helping put this together and make it an incredible evening. The chairs for our event, Beverly Cody and Stuart Hertz, and the entire LVA Honors Committee, they have my immeasurable esteem. More to follow on that. I work with a tremendous staff, and I want to thank Lindy Casemeyer for I inherited a tremendous staff, and every time you come to a new community, you really worry that the people that you work for, how are they going to accept you? I have felt nothing but acceptance and love and camaraderie from an incredible team. Thank you, Lindy, for putting this team together. Thank you, everyone on the LVA staff. Specifically, Grant Johnson, Keith Waits, and Amy Chase are the three people who have really, from my staff, spent a lot of time on this event, and it wouldn't be what it is without them. And last but not least, I want to thank the entire LVA board for believing in me and the vision of an arts ecosystem and how we support people for artists through their entire life cycle. I know I said it earlier in terms of this being a fundraiser and saying that the money that you give today speaks to the CFAC classes. So you have young artists who are moved up through the program until they hit college. You have people like Kevin who are teachers, and we're supporting them. You have artists like Jalen Stewart who are emerging artists, and we will be supporting the Jalen Stewarts through their career until eventually we get to the John Begleys, and it's the legacy of people who have spent their life thinking about Louisville and the artistic excellence of this community. That's what LVA does. I am so honored to be able to be the executive director of LVA. I am grateful and humbled to be able to give this award to people who have spent more time and energy in this community than I have. To recognize them, it is truly my honor to be in their shadow. But ultimately, everything that LVA does, from our CFAC classes to the academy, to supporting emerging and mid-career artists, to recognizing the people who have a legacy in this community. We can't do this without your donations. So far this evening, thank you so much, Grant. Oh my goodness, I appreciate it. We have an anonymous $1,000 donation in honor of John Begley to support John Begley. I really appreciate that. Ruth Ann Wolf has given us $200. Bet Levy's given us $200. Eric Peku has given us $250 with a tip of the cap to Marty Kuhn. Thank you so much. Ultimately, we have a $10,000 goal tonight, and I challenge everyone who's listening. If LVA or the creative community in this town has touched you, has influenced you, has made Louisville a better place to live, please go to www.lvahonors.org and hit the donate button. It's everything from CFAC classes to our classes for professional development for emerging artists to honoring legacy artists like John Begley, and I really, truly appreciate it. If you ever want to talk, my email is christian@louisvillevisualart.org. I'm the executive director. I'd love to hear your feedback, and I'd love to talk to you about what LVA can do and how we can help, and your stories about how LVA has helped you. Again, a little bit off script, but I am so moved by my tremendous staff, my tremendous board, everyone here at Skybridge Media. It's virtual, and next year we will see you in person, but thank you. Thank you, everyone. Good night.